a relationship between a man and a woman is inherently unequal. And that goes for any relationship where someone is deciding to date their oppressor. Just like all white people have racism brainwashed into them, all males have misogyny brainwashed into them. And any male who claims not to be a misogynist is a misogynist, because a self-aware man knows that he has it brainwashed into him. And anytime that a woman decides to be in a relationship with a man, she's making a sacrifice and a commitment knowing that she's dating her oppressor. Almost all women have sexual trauma and emotional abuse trauma, literally just from society. And she's taking a risk in being with you and making a commitment to help you undo your brainwashing. Now, of course, I'm not saying that people shouldn't date the opposite gender, but a lack of awareness can cause problems. A lack of awareness can cause problems. A lack of awareness can cause problems.
I'll never know what your experience is, but I just guess, based on everything I've seen in my life, that your day-to-day existence of just being is more at peace. I don't think that you have the same desperate need to prove yourself that just seems wired in signs of men. I just feels like your value is more guaranteed, whereas ours requires a little bit more. Is this controversial? I don't know.
Well, literally everything that ever comes out of your mouth is controversial since like 2018, but this is why we love you. I actually don't agree. I don't agree that women are more at peace than men. In fact, women are actually higher in trait neuroticism, which is essentially a measurement of negative emotion. Women tend to be more on edge and more anxious more of the time. Men actually, I see more often, are quite content to just chill out and let the moment be.
I mean, what is the source then of the female anxiety? If from a man's perspective, a lot of his existential angst comes from, I've got to prove myself, I've got to be successful, I've got to, tap into my ambition. If women don't have that as the source of their anxiety, what do you suppose theirs is?
It's hard for me to imagine being in that position, to just be small and have way less upper body strength, and to have half the population really, really want something from me. And some of them are willing to take it against my will. That just sounds like a recipe for background anxiety. And women's communication in conversation is stereotypical because it's true. Women are reading into more subtle layers of communication. And so danger is in every word possibly. Whereas for men, danger doesn't really come out until someone gets mad. Other than that, things are chill. With women, there's little signs of danger with every little underhanded comment that someone might make.
That sounds absolutely exhausting. So when you encounter a woman who seems really chilled out then, like she's very at peace with herself, what would a woman have to have accomplished in order to feel that level of peace? And I'll tell you
Well, I have an idea, but I think we're probably going to the same place.
I also wonder if we're going to the same place. I'm thinking it has to do with the man that they've got in their life. Are you thinking the same thing?
Yeah, it's friends they trust and men that they feel safe around, that they can look up to. Men that their hypergamy desire has been satisfied and their social connections are supportive and loving. You get that and you're happy as a woman.
Gee, honestly, like I have a little mechanism inside my brain of like, I can run two programs at the same time. I can be like, this is what reality is. This is logical. This is common sense. This is fine. And then also, this is how people are going to interpret what you're saying and what you're thinking. And that strikes me as something that people are going to find incredibly controversial. But let me try and justify it. Why I'm saying this is that how many genuinely at peace women do you know who are older and single?
If I had no hands, it would still be too many fingers. No, very few. Very, very few. I don't want to say zero because I just wouldn't trust that strong of an answer, but it's definitely less than 10.
Like I know a lot of women who I think fantastic, 10 out of 10, high quality woman, like any guy would be lucky to have her, but they're all in relationships and have been for a long time. A strong, competent, capable man that they've got in their corner that they know if shit goes down, they can rely on him, is going to flood women with a feeling of safety that is going to be difficult to replicate in any other way. But it does make it seem, when you put it that way, that women are a little bit more dependent upon men for that sense of safety.
If someone thinks it's controversial that women are dependent on men for physical safety, I think they should read a little bit more history and maybe try getting into a fight sometime and see how you do, because it's really, really gnarly. And a man who's big and strong can wreck someone in a few seconds.
And I would argue that it goes beyond physical strength. I think that's the most obvious and easy to defend position, but I think there's a psychological safety that women experience by being around a man who's like, Yeah, I understand how these societal systems work. I can navigate these environments and arenas. And he just seems competent, like he can navigate through life, kind of like push his way through the crowd and then she can follow in his wake.
Women like a man who has practical intelligence, of course. And that's the kind of guy who can figure things out without needing to emote too much, just basic logic of which way is the fastest, which is the most plentiful resource option, relatively systematic thinking.
I think that it's completely reasonable then that you can take your self-esteem as a woman by the quality of the man that you attract into a relationship. And I also think vice versa. Like if you have a really high quality girlfriend, you should be proud of that. As a guy, you should feel better about yourself. As a woman, you're not weaker or lesser because you're in a relationship with a man and he makes your life better. His success genuinely is your success. And the bigger and better and more competent and more at peace he is, the more spaciousness he has in his consciousness for you to nestle into, it just reflects on you better.